Hi, I hope you're well. Thought I'd just cover in a little bit more detail the current position for you as an employer when it comes to staff members who are unwilling to wear PPE that's been set out in law. This particularly stands for face masks. So there's a great deal of confusion in all sorts of things to do with the PPE we have to wear at work. But one of the greatest areas of confusion is that there are, or staff members believe that there are exemptions to them having to wear a mask at work. And the reason I think this confusion comes is because if you go on any of the government websites across all of the United Kingdom, there is plenty of information about exemptions for consumers or clients and how they can print off, for example, an asthma exemption card. However, there are no exemptions for employees or workers not to have to wear masks or goggles and visors or any other PPE as set out in law. And this puts you as the employer in a really, really difficult position because the PPE is set out in law, and therefore if an employee is unwilling to wear that, there is no wiggle room that you have. The fine comes to you as the employer. It's your salon that would be forced to close potentially by the health and safety executive or environmental health. So the penalties all rest with you. So this means that you really can't give your employees an exemption, whatever their reasoning to do so, whether maybe they've got asthma, maybe they have panic attacks when they wear a mask. So you need to engage with these employees. If that happens to you, you need to sit down and explain to them that these are not your rules, that this is the law, and therefore you've got no say in having to follow the rules and to follow the law. Perhaps show them some evidence that you can find on the internet proving, for example, that face masks don't restrict oxygen and don't cause things like CO2 headaches, which is one of these myths that seems to be bouncing around a little bit at the moment. If you do want any of the links for those, obviously just please get in touch with us. I think also train staff as to why, from a health benefit point of view, wearing a mask and the other PPE is important and beneficial to them as individuals. And then unfortunately, if they still refuse to wear the PPE as set out in law, you need to start disciplinary action, because you can't risk allowing one member of staff not to wear a mask, because then everybody else would say, well, why not me too? Clients would say, well, hang on, this isn't a terribly safe salon. I don't want to go there. And lastly, of course, you may well be closed down by environmental health or the health and safety executive, and potentially also receive very, very large fines. If you do end up having to go down the disciplinary route, I would strongly suggest that you follow the steps and stages really, really clearly as set out by your contracts of employment or the ACAS disciplinary code. You need to use the correct letters that are sent in the correct time, and then those meetings need to follow a set process. However, if we look in other areas where PPE has been obligatory for some time, perhaps the building trade, perhaps in things like metalwork shops, non-wearing of PPE can actually be a gross misconduct case. And in those instances, you, of course, can dismiss very quickly without the need to pay any notice pay. However, every situation is different, and so you need to make those decisions yourselves. And I'd also add that, of course, nothing has been tested in court in terms of dismissing somebody for not wearing COVID-related PPE. So that's why I advise that you need to tread very carefully and to follow the rules. But you really do need to take action. You really can't allow people to not wear face masks, visors or other PPE in the salon, because as individual salon owners you risk a fine and closure. But also importantly, I think as a sector, we risk closure, again, if we're not seen to be following the rules. This, it's all very difficult. It's all very stressful for salon owners. So please do give us a call and we'll very happily talk through your options and kind of some of the do's and the don'ts with this. And equally, if any of your employees would like to talk to us so that we can reinforce the messages that you're giving, please do let them have our number. Probably worth just chatting with us first before you do that, just so we know who to expect the call from and that you're happy for us to talk to them. So hope that all helps. Best of luck in the coming days and weeks, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.